everyone, and welcome to another edition of Resilience Talk with Brad Neufeld. My guest today, DeeBee Daws, has written her debut novel called Brooks. However, her superpower lives within the soul of Donna B. Davis, who has embarked on a new career as a published author. Miss Davis describes herself as living welderly with positivity and is weeks away from her book Brooks becoming available on the bookshelves. She says that she's always loved to read and has found refuge between the covers of books since she was big enough to turn pages. She has written family histories for the benefit of her children and grandchildren and has written songs for each of her 21 grandchildren. Donna currently lives in southern Utah with her husband. They have raised 4 children and will celebrate 61 years of mostly wedded bliss this coming July. So my guest, Donna Davis. Donna, how you doing today?
Oh, doing good. Thank you for asking.
I just got to ask you that last part of your bio there where it says, 61 years of mostly wedded bliss. Can you describe that for the audience?
Well, do you want the nitty-gritty details or
Oh,
something?
no, we don't need to.
Uh,
A general overview will be great.
um, my husband and I were married in July of 1963, and so that's almost 61 years. It will be this summer. And I would say that probably 95% of it has been wonderful. And there's 5% where we didn't always agree, but we always came to terms with whatever was the problem, and we've stuck together, and I'm proud of us for having done that.
Well, congratulations on that. That's a feat in itself.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's good.
61 years of marriage. Well,
I love him and wouldn't want to be with anybody else, and he feels the same about me, but we still butt heads sometimes.
Well, and that's okay. Yeah, a little conflict here and there doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, making up is fun.
That's right. There you go. There you go. Well, Donna, you've got this awesome book. The title is Brooks, and I got to admit, when I first saw the cover, matter of fact, is it okay if I put a picture of the cover up here?
Absolutely.
All right. So this is Donna's book that'll be coming out here in the near future. So we'll just see how that goes and keep everybody updated. So this book, let's talk a little bit about what led up to you wanting to write this book. And I know, Donna, as I've gotten to know you, you've been through some really heart-wrenching situations with your life and your children and everything. But what can you give us a little bit of a background? What's been going on? Has your life always been great, or has there been some ups and downs, obviously? Can you tell us a little bit about that and what led up to you wanting to write this book?
I had a great childhood. I had really good parents. And I came from a big family. There were 6 children in the family. I got married and expected that my life would go on to be a continuation of the way I was raised, and for the most part it was. We had 4 children, our 1 daughter, and she died 5 years ago of cancer, and was sick 5 years before that. And I think after her passing, I was trying to an escape, I guess, from reality. That's when I started my blog. I have a blog called Living Welderly.
Livingwelderly.com. And yes, let's talk about that
Yes.
later as well.
Okay. And in that blog, I wrote about life, my faith, health challenges for people in my age range. I think I always thought of myself as a very literal person, maybe even a little bit pragmatic. But somehow I started thinking in terms of imagination. And for some reason, the term "if walls could talk" came to my mind. I've always loved old houses. I've thought they had great character and personality. And I hear people describing old houses as it has such character. And that's when I just started to think about imagination. And I guess that's when Brooks was born. And I just decided that I wanted to write about something that sparked my imagination. I never thought of myself as a writer, though I've always written, but um, I started to wake up every morning wanting to write. I just had to write. And I wanted to, I dream at night about scenes and people and characters and how I wanted a story to progress. And so I just started writing. And pretty soon I figured if I wrote 50 or 500 words a day, it would take me 4 months to write 60,000 words,
Mhm.
which I had learned is about the average book. And I did. I had my 60,000 words in 4 months, and then I started paring it down. So that's kind of where it all got going.
Okay. And did you a lot of your life's things that you've gone through, you would say led up to obviously this? Because I love how you say houses. Because again, let's get into that in a minute. Because Brooks isn't a person;
No, no,
it's a
Brooks
house.
House.
And
Yeah. Uh, you know, if you know me really well and
yeah,
you read the book, you'll say, "Ah, that's Donna.
yeah,
I know that story." And even my kids, they've read the draft of it, and they've laughed because of things that I've put in there that our own family has done, and things they recognize about each other. And in fact, the characters in the book, most of them are named for family members. And that's been kind of fun for the kids to see how their character uh, plays out in the story of Brooks.
because I know one of the and with your permission, I believe we discussed this, but could you share some of the things you went through with your daughter who had the cancer?
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was obviously a lot of ups and downs there, and you know, anyway, I'll let you tell the story, but it just really
Well,
intrigued me.
she was probably the happiest person in the whole world. I loved being with her. She loved to have fun. She was into excuse me, outdoor adventure. She was a great mom for her kids, planning things all the time for them. But one of the things that she recreated for me and my husband was our first date, which was at a drive-in theater. And the characters in the book, that's where they had their first date. And as time went on, our daughter, 1 year for an anniversary gift, relived that first date for us. Or with us, I'm not sure how to say that, but
Mhm.
we went to a drive-in theater and we saw a movie called, oh, the song in it was Love is a Many Splendid Thing.
Okay.
And she gave us movie tickets and a bucket of popcorn and a couple of Cokes and a box of milk duds. And and I recreate that in the book. That's one of the things that we talk about in the book.
Nice.
Is that the story you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, well, and your daughter passing away from cancer, I like to say that just had to, be devastating. And do you ever really recover from that?
You never do.
Yeah.
No, no. When people say time heals all wounds, it doesn't. All it does, time just gives you time to uh, figure out that you've got to live with it. You have no choice. I think when my daughter first got sick, I was always a mom who would fix things. That was my job. I needed to fix things, and this was the first thing I wasn't able to fix. And it was hard trying to keep a brave face on for her. We expected a miracle, Brad, and we didn't get our miracle, and that was tough for us.
Yeah, because she actually beat it one time, right? And
Yes.
because I can only imagine you're down thinking nothing is, why did this happen? What are your feelings towards our creator and everything else? Why is this happening? And then she beat it, was pronounced clean, wasn't she, at one point?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so you thought, okay, this is great. You're euphorically celebrating, and then it hit again.
Yep. The other shoe dropped, and it dropped hard.
Mm.
Yeah. That last, I think it was only a year after that she just couldn't hang on anymore.
Oh my gosh. So sorry about that. I mean, yeah, there's no way to put that, but you've been able to beautifully reconstruct a lot of these stories, well, putting it into a story format in your book. So yeah, let's talk about your book. So it's Brooks. Brooks is a house, and I love how you refer to it as it's, there to protect and to
Protect, defend, and provide.
exactly. And so can you tell us a little bit? Okay, so you did explain to us how you loved how old houses and how they had character and all that. So how was Brooks born?
He was born, I believe it was about 1910, and there was a young couple that wanted to start a family, and so they built with materials common to his breed, and they built him with love. They named him, and he felt their love. Children were born in the house, and he loved the chatter of little children. As time went on, um, those children grew up, but they came back and visited often. And the people who created him eventually uh, succumbed to death,
Mhm.
but their spirits remained an integral part of Brooks and probably reside within his walls as time went on. The House of Brooks has been in the same family for 3 generations. And so the couple now that own Brooks, the man is the grandson of the original builders. Does that
Wow.
help?
Wow. And I love how you again so beautifully illustrated that Brooks had feelings too when people would leave.
Yes,
He felt empty. He
he
felt like,
did.
there's nobody here for me to protect him. As
No,
a new
there's a
person family moved in, he had to adjust and adapt. And oh my gosh,
yeah.
like I say, as I was reading this, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. The creativity, I love it.
Thank you. There's an old movie, and I think it might be Miracle on 52nd Street or something like that. There's a line in there, and I actually copied the line into the book at a particular part, but the line was, houses need people, and I feel sorry for houses without people. And yeah, that's the kind of feeling I wanted the house to project.
Mm. All right. Well, I want to ask this of you. This is by no means the end of our interview, but I want to ask this: when the book is completed, will you come back and let us know how it is, and we'll do an official launch?
Oh, I'd love that.
All
Yes.
right, let's plan on that. So yeah, definitely. But now I'd like to talk about again, I consider this your life's mission, putting together your blog. Again, as you said, it only mostly started with wanting to leave behind some stories for your children and your grandchildren, but then it's become something more. And what we're referring to, audience, is living welderly with a
Mhm.
W, welderly. It's only one L, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, livingwelderly.com, livingwelderly.com. This is Donna's blog, and there's a lot of life's lessons in there, and it's mostly just been you again, recording your history there, but it's turned into so much more. What's your out outlook for living welderly? What would you like to see happen with that?
Well, first of all, I need to figure out how to make the most of that blog because I've
Mm.
created it, but there's so much there that I don't know anything about, and I'm seeking professional help to get that going better. But what I want to do, I'd like to encourage people in my age range, and I'm 80, I'll be 81 in August.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Well,
uh,
you don't look or act it, I'll tell you that.
oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I'd like to encourage people to uh, to not give up. I mean, one of the things I put in the book is look forward to things. find something to make some goals and look forward to that. I mean, we spend our lives as a kid, you look forward to being able to go to school, and then you look forward to getting your driver's license and going on your first date and meeting that special someone and having children. We have all these things to look forward to, but there gets to be a point in people in my age range where you start wondering, what do I look forward to? Um, and so find something, whether it's writing or drawing, or even if you can't do those things, do it. And you'd be surprised at how much your creativity is sparked by just trying these things. So living welderly, I just want people to see that there's a whole lot of us out there that is going through life, and maybe we ought to look for things that make it more enjoyable.
Yeah, because I mean, I think your tagline on the blog explains a lot. You know, we are meant to change by design and to
Right.
age with purpose.
Yes.
And that's something I preach here on Resilience Talk all the time. Every person's life has a unique mission, and do everything you can to bring those things out, because what's inside of you, the world needs. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know everything. That's one thing I learned early on in life, and I'm one of those few men that don't mind asking for help, even when I go to Walmart. If I don't know where the thread is, I'm going to ask, because doggone it, I don't want to go around the store for 20 minutes trying to figure it out, you know. And I know that's rare with males, you know,
Yeah.
asking for
Bless your heart.
directions. But I learned that early on. Nothing wrong with that. If I don't know, I don't know. So I'm going to ask somebody else. And there's obviously experts out there for what you're seeking. And
Right.
so that's what it feels like you're putting out there, is people don't, just because you're elderly, don't just give up. No, you have a wealth of knowledge that many people don't have. You know, your life's experiences have taught you a lot of unique things. So please put those out there.
And by the same token, don't be afraid to learn from others. Don't assume that you uh, know everything. Listen quite a bit too.
Absolutely. Well, there was one more thing. Let's go back to Brooks really quick. Your goal, I don't want to know if you want to call it a goal, but the book really is about, you told me this, power of self-confidence and trusting
Mhm,
yourself,
mhm.
with Brooks is the theme. And I love how you laid it out, that each title has a and hope I'm not giving too much away, but like I
No.
say, I was so inspired. I'm looking forward for the final thing to come out too here. But I was just so inspired. Every title heading is a saying or a principle for life. And
Yeah.
then you explain it within the story of Brooks. And it just really gets your point across, I believe. No, anyway, that was my impression of it. So this is definitely something that people ought to be excited about and get ready for sure.
Yeah, let me give you a couple of examples because I
Please.
wanted this to be brought up as well. In chapter 19, there's a bit of sage wisdom at the top of each chapter, is what Brad's talking about. And in chapter 19, it says, take time to sit and ponder, like a cow chewing cud under the shade. I just like the imagery of that. If you've ever seen a cow sitting under the shade of a tree and it's looking out into space and just chewing and chewing, um, you know, I don't know that I want to sit around and chew, but to sit and ponder and think about nothing in particular, just let your mind wander, maybe appreciate your blessings or whatever. And then there's another one in chapter 15 that I wanted to read too. As the sun rises each day, let it remind you to stretch your limbs and keep on walking one step at a time. Those are some of the sage advice that I'm trying to get through.
Yeah. And like I say, it's beautifully done. And as a side note, because I'm an old farm boy, my audience knows this. I grew up on a farm in Alabama, 4,000 acres of soybeans, and we had cows too. And I know exactly what you're referring to, Donna. The cow will just sit there and chew, and we sit there and watch the cow, and we'd wait for him to swallow. And I know 90%, 99% of people out there don't know this, but you can sit there and watch them, and then they'll swallow, and you can actually see what they've been chewing on go down in, you can see it down the side of their body go actually into their belly, and you wait there a few minutes and then it comes back up and they start chewing again.
Yeah.
So and they'll do that several times before it's finally put away and used for the good of the raising of anyway, for the feeding of the cow. But the what do you call it, the metaphor for that is sometimes you got to just chew on it and think about it and pause, but then nothing wrong with bringing it back up and revisiting it from another perspective.
That's interesting. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we'd sit there and watch the cows do that. Anyway, things you do when you're on a farm. Well, and again, any more things on your blog here? Because and I know you've discussed also starting a podcast, and I know that's in the works.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, I'm getting some excellent help from that, from you.
Thank you. I didn't mean that for a plug, but thank you. But I'm excited about this. And like I say, like I've said already, Donna, you've got a wealth of wisdom with you, and the things you're sharing are very positive, very motivational, and they're time-tested principles that I think we need to get back to in society. I think we've lost a lot of those things. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
yeah, I agree with that. You know, there's one other quote I wanted to bring up
please.
too. It's by Spencer W. Kimball, and I think I've got this on my my blog. One must live, not only exist. He must do, not merely be. He must grow, not just vegetate. I really like that.
Very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I share this quite frequently as well, like with Colonel Sanders. There's so many people I work with. Again, I've worked in the mental health industry, and there were so many people I work with who are 60 and up that just say, Brad, it's too late for me. I've lived my life and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, and then I'll share that example of Colonel Sanders with Kentucky Fried Chicken. When did he get his start? He was in his late 60s. He was totally broke, living on Social Security. And he thought, no, I feel like I haven't accomplished what I want to in life. And so then he goes and gets this chicken recipe and takes it to, he was on a very strict budget, just going everywhere he could in the United States to finally find a restaurant chain who would take his recipe and run with it. Well, as you probably know, that happened right here in Salt Lake at Harmon's Cafe, and that's where it all started. But what's so great about that for me is when he passed away, so he didn't get started till he's in his 60s, but when he passed away just before 90 years old, he was the third largest food chain in America. So it's never too late.
No.
Never too late.
And even if you don't achieve that kind of success, there's a lot of self-satisfaction that's good for you to make those efforts and live through the experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, the blog, livingwelderly.com. Matter of fact, it's all in the show notes, everybody. So if you're having a hard time finding it, just go down and click on the links. And Donna, this has been awesome. It's been uplifting. What more could you tell the audience? What more would you like to share with them?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Well, hey, how about this? If you are interested in writing, one of the first things I would suggest is you join a writing group. I did not do that at the beginning. I was trying to do it all by myself. I did join a writing group, and it's Author Ready. I love it.
Okay, with your permission, I'll put that down in the notes too.
Absolutely do. When I started to look around how to publish my book, I found a lot of scams out there, and they're very happy to take your money and not do the kind of work that really needs to be done to promote your writing. So be real careful with that. And my son is actually the one that did the research. He knew my frustration in trying to find a publisher. And when you self-publish, you have to be very careful. At any rate, my son sent me a link and he said, Mom, here's Author Ready. I'm pretty sure it isn't a scam because Richard Paul Evans is the mentor. And
Yes.
so he says, try that out. And there's things there that you can do that are absolutely free. I ended up joining as a gold member, and I've never felt badly about it.
Awesome.
There's all kinds of wonderful help there. One of them is that Richard Paul Evans himself mentors us once a month. And I've gotten some great ideas for building a brand now, because I want to go on and do another book about Brooks. And so I've got some great ideas for that. They also have a weekly writers group, and I had that meeting just last night, and they have helped so much for me to polish up a pitch and polish up my book. I did my book cover through them, and I love it. So I would just recommend getting involved in a writers group.
Fantastic. And again, Author Ready is awesome. Like you say, for those of you who don't know who Richard Paul Evans is, just type that in your Google, and for the first 10 pages, you'll see nothing but him. He's written, what's he up to now? 46 New York Times bestsellers.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are familiar with the Christmas box. That was even a movie a long time ago, and then Michael Vey series, and yep, that's Richard Paul Evans. So no, thank you for sharing that, Donna, for sure. And like I say, I'll be sure and put the link down here for everybody, because I like that too. Well, to me, there's a lot of people out there who have that prompting to write a book, but very few do. And so I would encourage people along with you to say, hey, if you've got that feeling at all, start writing. And you say, well, where do I even start? Any recommendations on that? I say you just start it, because I don't know if your experience was like mine, but once you start, it's like other thoughts come into your mind, and you're like, oh my gosh, here's a thought for another book. And
don't make it make sense at the beginning. Get a notebook and a pencil and just start writing. If you've got a typewriter, put a paper in there and start writing. If you've got a computer, there's so many ways you can do it. And don't worry about making it perfect the first time. Just do it.
All right. Well, thank you for that. All right. Well, Donna, thank you so much for this time. This has been awesome, been very uplifting. And DeeBee Daws, is that your author name?
That's my pen name. You know what I did? I wanted something as clever as the subject I was writing about. And Donna Davis is so common. You find dozens of them. I wanted, and of course, my initials are DBD.
Yeah.
So DB seemed. I looked on the internet and didn't find a DB anywhere.
Right.
So DEEBEE, and then Daws is kind of looks. It's what my last name looks like when I scribble. Davis.
Oh. That's great.
So yes, I'm DeeBee Daws.
All right. Well, thank you. And yes, keep us posted on when the book's coming out. Again, everybody look up livingwelderly.com, livingwelderly.com, and you can find out more about Donna. But Donna, thank you so much. This has been awesome. It's great getting to know you, and I look forward to working with you from here on out.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate this time.
You're so welcome. Well, let's end the show. Again, if you guys know anybody else who would like to share a story where they've overcome challenges or they've written a book, I like to help people get the word out. My career is being in the radio industry. That's what I like to do, is help people. I get to see a lot of good things and a lot of good stories, but most of them will never see the light of day. So I do everything I can to get the word out on them so people can be inspired. But you can look us up at resiliencetalknetwork.com. You can also find us on YouTube or any other platform where you find your podcast, Resilience Talk with Brad Neufeld. But until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life, make it happen, and do some good in the world. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Hello, my friends. This is Brad Neufeld, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Resilience Talk Network. You can listen to my show, Resilience, every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. On my show, we will be discussing what it takes for you to overcome the day-to-day challenges that all of us face in life, as well as some of the devastating ones that may lead us to feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's my goal to provide you with the tools and skills that you need to overcome anything that is thrown your way. To find out more about my show, visit our website at www.resiliencetalk.com. That's www.resiliencetalk.com. And as always, until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life and make it happen.